The Seducter, written and narrated by RJF. In the hot and humid tropical jungle of Kawakucha, a woman walked. This woman, like so many others before her, had been drawn here by the promise of a cave filled with untold treasures. She spent many years researching and preparing for this expedition, and now she was ready. A smile sprouted as the woman scratched the skin exposed by her tattered clothes. When she drank from her pouch, her expended fluid sweat out from her pores. Her eyes painted over the excessive trees and shrubbery, and her ears twitched at the croaks of wildlife. If there were one thing this woman loved more than a good expedition, it would be the riches she would garner from one. Many days had been afforded for this cause, and of finding the cave, she was all but certain. But when she did, it seemed she was not the only one who wished to find it. Standing at the foot of the towering stony cave were two men with tents and a fire set up. The woman had worked too hard and come too far to be thwarted by lesser treasure hunters, as she would say. Like with any obstacle that dared to stand in her way, she opted for a direct approach. "Who are you lot, then?" She pointed an intrusive finger.
"I might ask you the same,"
one of the men said, approaching the woman obtusely. "I believe I asked you first." The other man butt in.
No, let's not be standoffish. I'm sure we're all here for the same reason. Instead of rivaling with one another, might we, perhaps, work as one?"
The woman was disgusted at such an idea, but she stayed any action, for the alternative would have surely been a fight. These men weren't nearly as cowardly as she had hoped. The first man piped up.
"Gah, it doesn't matter. Aligned or divided, none of us will survive long in that cave. I trust you've heard the stories, woman?"
"Please," she scoffed. "You can't possibly believe such rubbish."
"The Seducter is not to be scoffed at."
"Honestly, the absurdity is in the name. Any moron with half a brain and an average IQ would know that seductor isn't even a real word."
"But it's true,"
said the other man.
"I lost my brother to that creature. A dark day indeed. There exists no one who has ever seen the treasure within the cave's walls. The Seductor has seen to that."
The woman rubbed her eyes in exasperation. "Even if this hoax were real, the Seductor is merely a woman who seduces men. I am a woman who is in no way attracted to other women. Ergo, I shall not be seduced." Laughter burst from the first man's breath. "What tickles your lungs?" The woman folded her arms. "Come on, out with it."
"You think this has to do with attraction?"
the man mocked.
"You think the Seductor hasn't taken people of all creeds, women included? You are in over your head, woman."
"Oh? And what are you then? I doubt you lot have so much as attempted to enter the cave. I'll have you know that I have never been attracted to anyone in my life. My only love is of a good adventure, and I plan to continue my affair with it regardless of what you yellowbellies have to say about it."
"Yellowbellies? Is that what you think? You're stubborn. That won't get you far here."
"Well, I haven't gotten this far by keeping my tail between my legs, have I?" The man breathed a slight chuckle.
"All right. You think you're so tough? Be my guest. If you durst tempt fate, go right on ahead."
He gestured toward the cave. The woman spat on the ground and said, "I durst." Before she could enter the cave, the second man stretched out an arm, stopping her.
"Please, consider the risks. Stubbornness is no mark of strength. A little fear never hurt anyone."
She looked him dead in the eye. "I have much fear for matters deserving of such, but for this, I have none." She pushed past this obstacle like she would all others, and with haste entered the cave. The echoes of her footsteps matched the echoes of the water dripping from the roof of the cave. Her skin was cold, but that could not shake her will. She knew there was treasure here, and find it she would. She had done the research and had the utmost determination. She knew that, in this tale, she would be the exception. The treasure would be hers. She needed only worry about how she would sneak it past those men outside without them begging for a cut of the spoils. All was dark, save for a distant, majestic stream of shimmering light, which danced upon the silky skin of the most beautiful being ever conceived. This being took the form of a young woman with the wings of a dragonfly fluttering from her back. As she slowly bathed herself in the waters of a glistening cave pool, her wings continued to separate the light into all the colors of a rainbow. Garbed only in the healthy glow of her silky skin, she stood and called to the adventuring woman. The woman, who previously lusted so intently for adventure, now lusted for something new. Until she laid eyes on this creature, she had not truly known the meaning of the word beauty, nor lust. The being's beauty was so intoxicating that, as the woman approached, she did not notice the skulls lining the cave floors, the eyes of which glowed red and seemed to follow her every move. She was pulled by a lust so powerful that the dead bodies scattered around the cave with bites taken out of them went unnoticed. Her heart thumped, her breathing slowed, and she didn't realize that the pool encasing her love was not of water, but blood. When close enough, the winged one caressed the woman's cheek with a light touch. She gifted her but one kiss, then backed away, motioning for the woman to follow. Together, they bathed in the glistening red waters. The woman was granted one final kiss, until she, too, contributed to the vibrant reds of the pool. It would not be much longer until the two men from outside would fall to a similar fate, so typical of humans. I imagine they would be heartbroken to discover that there isn't, nor has there ever been, any treasure within these walls. They're associated so greatly with greed. They question not how they can be sure that there is any treasure within this cave if no one has lived long enough to see it. They would much rather question the obstacle to said treasure, the truthfulness of one called the Seducter. I may not be of this world, but I assure you I am real. Take it from me. After all, I did craft the ruse that brought so many to my cave. So long as there is greed, so long as there is lust, for as long as humans continue to care for that which they do not have, more so than that which they do, I shall forever flourish. For I dine with seduction, I dally with lust, and most of all, I dance with greed. The end. This has been The Seducter, written and narrated by RJF.